Hey guys, thanks for watching, much appreciated. Now, as you're probably aware, there is a lot of interesting stuff going on in the modeling world right now. And one of the biggies is gapless switching between presets. The Fender Tonemaster Pro is the first modeler to my knowledge that actually has gapless switching between presets. And because of this, they are currently not implementing either scenes or snapshots. Now, there are a lot of Fractal and Helix owners that are upset about this because they'd like to get the Tonemaster Pro, but they are used to using scenes and snapshots. But why are there scenes and snapshots in the first place? As I understand it, neither the Fractal nor the Line 6 modelers had gapless switching between presets, so that's why scenes and snapshots were introduced. Now, if you're a Fractal owner, you most likely know that most of the production presets come with up to 8 scenes already created for each preset. It can take some time to get used to how scenes work, but that's the trade-off you get with the great flexibility of the Fractal units. That flexibility comes at the price of having to actually read and reference the manual on a regular basis, because there is nothing intuitive about the Fractal UI. This is what it says about scenes in the FM9 owner's manual, and I'm sure it's the same in the Axe FX3 and the FM3 owner's manual. A scene is a bit like a preset within a preset. Scenes can turn blocks on and off, change block channels, and more. Scenes don't need to be created, they're already there, ready to be set as desired. To save any changes to a scene, you must save the entire preset. There are many benefits to using scenes. By switching multiple blocks, they eliminate the need to tap dance on switches. They also offer the easiest way to ensure perfect spillover of effects like delay and reverb. Scenes can also change overall volume levels, send MIDI messages, and more. Each scene also has a name. Each scene stores all of the following. 1. The current bypass state of every block in the current preset, on or off. 2. The current channel of every block in the current preset. 3. The current scene level of the output blocks. 4. The settings of 4 scene controllers used as modifier sources. 5. Each scene also has its own name. 6. Scenes can cause the scene MIDI block to send up to 8 MIDI PC or CC messages. The thing about Fractal scenes is that there are some limitations that may seem real puzzling at first. For example, like if you use an amp block in one scene and then you use it in another scene and make changes in that second scene, it will reflect also in the first scene. So for example, let's say your first scene is called clean and you have your amp set at clean. Then you go to scene 2 and you want that one to be crunchy. So you adjust the gain on the amp. If you're still using the same amp channel and amp block that you used in your scene 1, now scene 1 is also going to be crunchy because any changes you made in scene 2 get reflected in scene 1. Now there are a couple ways around this. Most blocks have 4 channels, so for example in the amp block, you could have 4 of the same amp loaded in each of the channels, and then you could make the adjustments in each channel and it doesn't affect the other channels. Now the other thing you can use is a scene controller. There are 4 scene controllers per preset that you can use. But now I can almost hear some of you guys saying, what is this guy talking about? Scenes? Scene controllers? Do I really want to know any part of this? Like I said, the Fractal flexibility does come at a cost. You do have to study the manual or watch a lot of YouTube videos to understand how to use your Fractal modeler. And once you do, it'll be a great thing, but it takes some time to get there. A lot of guys live on one preset and just change from scene to scene for the entire show. That's all they need. They probably don't even need all 8 scenes. They may just have 3. Clean, crunchy, and lead, and that'll do them just fine. Now other guys craft scenes for each part of the song, and the scenes might say intro, verse, chorus, solo, bridge, and etc. It all depends on how deep you want to go. One of the questions in the Fractal owner's manuals is, why not just change presets? Their answer is, preset changes give you total flexibility. You can change anything and everything in every preset, but there are also drawbacks. Synchronizing multiple presets can be tedious, it takes care to get levels and spillover just right, and while preset changes are fast, scene and channel changes are even faster and can be seamless. Fractal has just recently released beta firmware for the Axe FX3 that is supposed to deliver gapless switching between channels, scenes, and presets. Right now there are still some issues being worked out, but hopefully it should get ported to the FM9 and hopefully the FM3. I'm going to be doing a short demo using the FM9, and I'm going to use the most recent production firmware. Now, not only are there audible gaps between presets, there are audible gaps between scenes. You know, I had never really noticed this before because I use my gear in the studio. I'm not using it live where I'm switching from preset to preset. But sure enough, right now there are audible gaps between presets and scenes on the FM9. And that's with me using factory presets. Okay, let me show you the gap switching from preset to preset on the FM9. Now let me show you the gaps going from scene to scene. Line 6 uses snapshots, which are similar to scenes. Their manual says that snapshots are presets within a preset. Sounds familiar, right? Each preset can have up to 8 snapshots. The manual says this: each of the 8 snapshots in Helix stores and recalls the state of certain elements in the current preset, including block bypass, the bypass state of all processing blocks except looper, independent of any foot switch bypass assignments, parameter control, the values of any parameters assigned to controllers, up to 64 per preset. Command center, the values of any instant MIDI CC, bank/prog, MMC, CV out, QWERTY hotkey, and HX looper messages, plus the state, dim or lit, of any CC toggle, CV toggle, and external amp messages. Tempo, the current system tempo, if tempo select is set to per snapshot. By default, it's set to per preset. Depending on how you set them up, snapshots can act as 8 variations of the same tone, 8 drastically different tones, or any combination thereof, all within the same preset. A single preset snapshot may accommodate all the various tones required for a song in many cases. HelixHelp.com adds this: there's always going to be a small audible gap when switching presets in any box with the Helix device's level of dynamic model allocation and routing complexity. That's just how advanced DSP works. However, snapshots allow for a surprising amount of tonal control from within the same preset, and every change happens instantly and seamlessly. So the Helix doesn't have gapless preset switching unless you're switching from a preset that only uses one DSP to another preset that only uses one DSP. That can restrict the complexity of your preset though, so most folks opt for using snapshots, which are seamless. Just like with Fractal, you can use one preset that has 8 very different presets within a preset. I haven't had a chance to dig into snapshots yet, but I know that a lot of the Line 6 guys that switch over to Fractal get confused with scenes because of some of the limitations that I mentioned earlier. Guys, if you'd like to know more about scenes, I'll have a link in the description to a video that I did earlier strictly about scenes. If you want to know more about snapshots, send me questions and I will do my best to research them and get the answers for you, and that way we can all learn something new. Now I'm going to do a little demo on the Helix floor. You'll notice that there are audible gaps between the presets, but to my ears I am not hearing any gaps between the snapshots, which does seem to be an improvement right now over the Fractal unit. The preset that I'm using is one of John Nathan Cordy's called Jawbone Tone. It uses 3 snapshots, and you'll hear that the switching between them is actually gapless. Okay, now we'll check out the Helix floor unit and we'll go from preset to preset first. Okay, now we're in snapshot mode, and I don't know if you can see, but there's 3 snapshots. Number 1 is basic lead, number 2 is hotter lead, and number 3 is juicy. So let's try them out, starting with basic lead. As you can tell on the snapshots, it was gapless. The ToneMaster Pro doesn't need scenes or snapshots because it has gapless preset switching, and reverb and delay trails don't get cut off either. So this is a whole new ballgame. And Fender wants to have different rules. If you want scene or snapshot functionality, Fender allows you to group 6 presets into a song. You can build set lists from songs. It's pretty much the same scenario as scenes or snapshots, except you have 6 options instead of 8. Here's how Max Gutnick from Fender is using song mode on gigs. I have created this workflow in song mode by taking the default Maximus Twin preset and saving it as 5 different presets: Max Rhythm, Max Lead, Max Crunch, Max Clean, and Max Greasy. I then adjusted the parameters for each preset and saved again. I then created a song called Maximus Twin Rig and populated the foot switches with each of the presets listed above. Now when I put ToneMaster Pro into gig mode, I have my rig for my entire show all dialed in. This to me is the ultimate workflow because I can nest up to 6 variations of my rig in as many songs as I want. Now with 504 available presets, if you used 5 presets per song, you'd have 100 songs stored on your ToneMaster Pro. You can make that 101 if one of your songs can go with 4 presets. Now I know that doesn't cover everybody's needs, but I'll bet it covers the majority of players. You know, I'm still thinking that most guys will maybe make at most a half a dozen presets, and that will be enough for them for an entire gig. Now we'll have to see if Line 6 and Fractal owners can make the transition to using just presets, or if they're going to petition Fender to add either scenes or snapshots. We'll be going over Max Gutnick's song examples step by step in a later video, but for right now I'm just going to switch from preset to preset on the ToneMaster Pro. Not only does it have gapless switching, it also has spillover so that reverb and delay trails, they just flow from preset to preset. They do not get cut off. So for example, you could have a song set up for the Rush song Limelight, and for the end of Alex Lifeson's solo where he hits that one note that goes forever, that could be a preset. Switch off to another rhythm preset and that note will still just be ringing out because of the spillover feature. You know, I think I'm going to try making a Limelight song in the future. If anyone's interested, let me know. Okay, now we're taking a look at the Fender ToneMaster Pro and we'll just go from preset to preset. Did you catch that trail? Watch when I switch from 115 to 116. She's still there. So right now, if you need gapless switching, your only options are Line 6 and the Fender ToneMaster Pro. Like I said earlier, Fractal has it right now in beta for the XFX3, but there are still some issues to be worked out before it comes out in production. But I have no doubt that Fractal can get it right on the XFX3, and then hopefully they'll be able to port it to the FM9 and the FM3. We just don't know how long that's going to take. Now next Wednesday, we're going to take a look at the drives in the ToneMaster Pro and see how they compare with the Fractal FM9s. Now, you don't want to miss that, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll be talking with you next Wednesday.